We're a multicultural, multi-faith society, and that's how our kids are growing up.
Faith and religious accommodation, in my mind, is about inspiring our learners.
Maybe the largest accommodation we need is the recognition that we're here.
To me, plurality is a good thing.
More communication.
Open-mindedness.
Diverse religion. Schools recognizing that there are children of different religions.
I think it's important to express who you are.
It makes me feel like a good person.
Very proud of who I am.
And that pride is what brings a positive tone to school culture.
Where they find their culture is actually within the institutions nowadays.
The values are the same and we should respect all.
It has progressed so much and people are understanding each other, they are learning about each other.
But the core of it is that we all want the best for each other.
And sometimes I think that our students can teach us a lot about that.
I was a teacher and an administrator for over 30 years with the Waterloo Region District School Board. When I first started, my mother cautioned me not to talk about being Jewish at all. There certainly are a number of people who don't want to draw attention to their differentness. And certainly if you're a minority, being an invisible minority, you know, some people won't really stand up for who they are because they're afraid of discrimination.
I believe strongly that Aboriginal students would feel more comfortable if their culture and heritage was more reflected in day-to-day activities and assemblies as well.
And I think that's part of our everyday reality, is just trying to be a little more aware and a little bit more respectful of the diversity of our population. We have 100 personnel on our site. We have many individuals. The off chance that a comment could be misinterpreted or someone's best intention be misinterpreted, why are we still setting our kids up for that?
When I first started talking about Hanukkah, it was like you had to talk about it all in like sugarcoat everything, and you know, you just sort of talk about dreidels and latkes. But it was all about religious freedom. That was what Hanukkah is about. So why not talk about religious freedom and talk about the choices that we have as human beings?
Religious accommodation is actually an issue of educational equity. Traditionally, how we think of it implies that there is a certain kind of norm, and faith-conscious students are an exception to that who need to be accommodated to that norm. So I like to think of religious accommodation as an issue of religious accessibility.
A lot of students will say, this is me, this is the whole child. I am a whole child when I come here. I don't leave certain parts of me at home. I bring it with me at school. So it's important to value those things that these kids bring to school and be able to celebrate it.
I'm appreciated for who I am, and I don't need to change for other people, and I think that's really important to create that environment for students so they feel safe coming to school and they feel this sense of belonging in this community.
Both the Ontario Human Rights Code and the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedom protect equality based on creed and freedom of religion as fundamental human rights in Ontario. This includes the right to be treated equally, irrespective of one's religion or creed, and the right to hold and practice religious or creed beliefs of one's own choosing. It also includes the right to be free from religious pressure and the imposition of creed or religious beliefs the person does not share.
I think the policies sends a really good and positive message to faith-conscious students and their respective communities that the school systems value their spiritual and religious identities. It normalizes equity issues, I think, for students, their communities, and also teachers.
I think it's important to recognize that our students come to school not just as blank slates, but they bring with them their whole life from outside of school as well. And for many of them, their faith is a very significant part of their life. And if they can bring that with them and have that recognized and affirmed as being a valuable part of their life, then all of a sudden this becomes part of their home.
When people feel like they belong, they'll do better, they feel better about themselves, and ultimately in the end, we want our kids to achieve to their maximum. And if they feel like they belong and that they're valued and their viewpoints are acknowledged, then they will have a greater chance of success because those conditions for learning are being honored.
100%, yeah, this is great. I mean, I believe it comes under the human rights code of ethics that different religions, different faiths, you have the freedom of religion. We really appreciate that the school board or Waterloo and region trying to achieve this kind of accommodation for different places.
Actually, I welcome this question because they will understand why I am wearing this, why I am fasting, why I am celebrating this holiday, why I am sad on this day.
Celebration or recognition of diversity is not only meant for the minority group. To me, it's a recognition and awareness is good for all the constituent of society. So it seems to me that having some room to recognize on a formal basis, nothing wrong with that. We will not lose anything. We will not lose the character of, say, a Christian society per se. It would probably, to me, be a good balance. Nevertheless, I think maintaining a secular environment, to me, is essential. It's a core value, and we should preserve it because the governing system, the education system, I think, has achieved great success.
There's limits to that expression of religious freedom. There are points when it crosses over into proselytization or forcing our beliefs on others, and those create sticky points. But it's all part of the journey that we're on. And at times that can be messy, but it's fruitful and productive, and fundamentally we believe that diversity makes us stronger. And this is part of having diversity work to the best advantage of the organization and ultimately to produce better outcomes for our students who stand at the center of everything that we do.
Our educational system is a microcosm of our society, and the social inequities that exist outside exist in the educational system as well. So by actively and strategically talking about these issues, we're also letting our students know in a way that we're modeling what it looks like to be a good citizen here, and what does inclusion look like. So we're walking the talk of diversity and equity for our students as well at the same time.